Before we begin, I want you to take a deep breath and give yourself a few moments, not to learn something, but to remember what your soul already knows. If you clicked on this video, it's probably not by chance. You might be here because something inside you is shifting, because you feel that the world around you no longer resonates the way it used to, or because you're going through powerful emotions, deep questioning, moments of isolation, or heightened sensitivity. And maybe all of this is making you doubt. Maybe you're wondering if you're going crazy. But I want you to know this. You are not going crazy. You are awakening. What you're experiencing is not a crisis. It's a sacred process. A process of spiritual awakening. And today, we're going to explore together 7 deep signs that your soul is waking up. Not in theory, but in the reality of your body, your emotions, and your perception. Take this moment for yourself. And let these words enter your heart. Not as predefined answers, but as mirrors that might resonate with what you're living deep inside. Sign 1. You no longer feel like you belong. One of the first signs of a spiritual awakening is that strange, sometimes disorienting feeling of not recognizing yourself in your own life anymore. Everything that once seemed natural, obvious, familiar, suddenly begins to feel foreign. You wake up in the morning and ask yourself, why am I doing all of this? You go to work, you see your colleagues, your loved ones, your friends. But a part of you feels disconnected, detached, sometimes even empty. It's like watching the world through a glass pane. You're there, but not really present. You hear what people are saying, but their words feel shallow. You engage in conversations, but they no longer feed your soul. This disconnection can be scary. It can feel like you're losing your grip. But in reality, it's the beginning of a deep realignment. Your soul is beginning to whisper. You didn't come here to live an automatic life. You came to remember who you are. This feeling of not being in the right place is a sign that you're breaking free from the matrix. The matrix of habits, masks, and obligations. And that you're beginning to seek something truer, deeper, more aligned with your essence. Often, it begins with deep mental fatigue. A saturation of distractions. A rejection of toxic relationships, superficial conversations, soulless habits. You start to drift away from certain people, not out of judgment, but because your energy no longer vibrates on the same level. This can bring a sense of loneliness. But it's not an empty space. It's a sacred space your soul invites you to create. A space to welcome the new you. So if you feel out of sync with the world, know that this is not a problem. It's a sign of your awakening. And it's also an opportunity. An opportunity to rebuild a life, no longer based on the expectations of others, but rooted in the truth of your soul. Sign 2. Your emotions become intense and deep. The second sign that you're going through a spiritual awakening is the intensification of your emotions. And sometimes, that intensity can feel overwhelming. One day, you may feel a profound peace, an inner clarity, a love you can't even explain. And the next day, you feel submerged by immense sadness, unexplained anger, or a deep sense of emptiness. It's as though your emotions have been amplified. As if you've become a highly sensitive antenna. But once again, it's not a mistake. It's not a psychological imbalance. It's a cleansing, a release, an inner purification. Because when the soul begins to awaken, it brings to the surface everything that's been repressed, hidden, avoided for years, or even for lifetimes. Emotions you buried deep inside because you had to be strong, move on, forget. But your soul no longer wants you to carry these burdens. It wants to free you. And to do so, it makes you feel them fully. Because what is felt can finally be healed and transformed. You become a more sensitive, more alive being. You begin to cry more easily, sometimes without any apparent reason. A song, a look, a memory, and the tears come. And at the same time, you can feel a deep joy just by looking at a tree, a starry sky, or a laughing child. You discover a new depth of feeling, as if your heart is finally opening, after being shut for far too long. And that can be disorienting, especially if you've learned to control, hide, or manage your emotions. But that's the very invitation of awakening. To stop running from what you feel. To stop filtering your emotions to please, to be accepted, or to appear strong. Emotions are your guides. Each emotion you feel is there to speak to you. It's a messenger, a vibration showing you where to heal, where to let go, where to love more deeply. Anger shows you where you've abandoned yourself. Sadness shows you where you were hurt. Fear shows you where you've disconnected from trust. And joy shows you where you are aligned with your essence. So stop judging your emotions. Listen to them, welcome them, even if they're intense, even if they hurt, because within that intensity lies a treasure, a key to your inner truth. Awakening doesn't happen only in the mind. It also happens in the body, in the heart, in the flesh. And the more you welcome your emotions, the more authentic, whole, and present you become. That is the true path of awakening. Not a flight upward, but a descent into yourself. To find what has always been there. Sign 3. You seek solitude and peace. When awakening begins to unfold, one thing becomes increasingly precious to you. Silence, solitude, inner peace. It's not that you don't like people anymore. It's not that you've become antisocial or distant. It's simply that your soul is calling you to recenter yourself. To find yourself again, away from the noise, distractions, and outer chaos. You withdraw from the world, to reconnect with yourself. Maybe you feel like certain outings no longer interest you. That the chatter around you exhausts you. That some relationships feel empty or forced. And above all, you feel an urgent need for calm. A need to isolate yourself, to walk alone, to meditate, to breathe in silence, to spend time in nature. Even with no clear reason. This need is not an escape. It's a return to the essential, a return to your inner presence. Solitude becomes sacred. In this phase, you begin to see solitude not as an absence, but as an amplified presence. It's in solitude that you finally hear your own thoughts, your true emotions, and above all, the subtle voice of your soul. It's in those quiet moments that you begin to perceive things differently. A singing bird becomes a message. A sunbeam becomes a blessing. The wind in the leaves becomes a silent conversation with the universe. Your sensitivity increases. Your perception expands. Your heart opens to something greater. Peace becomes your new compass. Little by little, you realize that inner peace matters more than success, possessions, or others' approval. You start saying no to what disturbs you. You step away from toxic environments. You protect your energy. You understand that your energy is sacred, and that you have the right, and even the duty, to honor it. Even if it means spending time alone. Even if it distances you from old habits. Even if it shakes your former identity. Seeking solitude during awakening is like seeking a sanctuary, an inner temple, a space where you can truly. Sign 4. You start seeing synchronicities and strange coincidences. Have you ever thought of someone, and they called you seconds later? Or noticed certain numbers keep appearing, like they're following you? 1111, 2222, 333. Or maybe you hear the same phrase or word in 3 completely different contexts in a single day. These strange phenomena, often called coincidences, aren't really random. They're what Carl Jung called synchronicities. Meaningful coincidences, hidden messages from the universe. And when you're going through a spiritual awakening, these synchronicities multiply. The universe speaks to you differently. You start seeing the world as symbolic language. Every event, every encounter, every repetition carries a message. You realize that everything is connected. That life guides you through subtle, yet powerful signs. And the more you pay attention, the clearer they become. Small diamond, you dream of an animal, and see it the next day. Small diamond, you're thinking about a decision, and a song on the radio gives you the answer. Small diamond, you feel lost, and a sign on the road says, trust the process. It's not your imagination, it's your connection opening up. Your vibration attracts your reality. As your consciousness rises, your energy shifts, and what you attract changes too. Synchronicities aren't just games of chance. They are proof that your inner vibration is in dialogue with the universal intelligence. You become like a magnet, an energetic transmitter and receiver. And the more aligned you are with your soul, the faster the answers come. Through symbols, numbers, words, encounters. It may seem magical, and it is, but it's not an outer miracle. It's you becoming more conscious. The world becomes a sacred mirror. By experiencing these synchronicities, you realize something profound. The outer reality reflects you. Each coincidence becomes a wink from the universe. A sign that you're on the right path. Or that something within you needs attention. And what once seemed strange becomes your inner language. A constant dialogue with the mystery of life. So if you keep seeing the same numbers, if you hear the same message multiple times, if you feel like life is sending you signs, listen, open up, receive, because these synchronicities are the invisible footprints of your awakening. And every sign is here to remind you that you are guided, loved, and deeply connected. Even when you doubt, even when everything feels unclear. Sign 5. You feel a deep call to change your life. One day, you wake up, and feel something's not right. Your job no longer inspires you. Your routine feels suffocating. Some relationships feel shallow or even toxic. And deep in your heart, a voice rises. You didn't come here for this. It's not a whim. It's not a passing crisis. It's a deep calling, a call from the soul. The call for change. Tornado, you can no longer pretend. You can no longer keep doing what you've always done. Following a path that isn't yours. Smiling on the outside while suffering in silence. It feels like a part of you is dying so another can be born. And it can be scary. Because everything you thought was stable starts to fall apart. But in truth, it's not your life that's collapsing. It's your illusion that's dissolving. What you are not, what you were forced to be, begins to fall away. And your true self begins to emerge. Briefcase changing your job, environment, or pace becomes a necessity. Maybe you feel the need to change careers, leave a relationship, reconnect with nature, or even move somewhere new. You can no longer waste your energy on things that no longer have meaning. You crave authenticity, simplicity, truth, and this need doesn't come from the outside. It's not from social media or trends. It comes from your heart, urging you to return to your inner truth. What you were searching for outside, you now realize is within. For a long time, maybe you chased recognition, security, success, love, but now, you realize none of that will satisfy you, unless you're aligned with your essence. And that alignment takes courage, because it means questioning everything. But that's also where your real life begins. Changing your life doesn't mean abandoning everything. It means letting go of what you are not, what no longer nourishes you, what keeps you from your light. And even if you don't yet know where you're headed, even if you walk through the fog, your soul knows. It will guide you, step by step, with every breath, with every sincere decision. So listen, even if it's disruptive, even if it's scary, because what you're seeking is seeking you too. Sign number 6. Your intuition becomes stronger and clearer. For a long time, you made decisions with your mind. You analyzed, weighed the pros and cons, listened to others' opinions. But recently, another voice has begun to speak. A subtler voice, a deeper one, your intuition, and that voice, you can no longer ignore. An inner compass is activating. Your intuition is not a spiritual luxury. It's a natural guidance system. It doesn't come from the mind. It comes from the heart, the body, and your connection to the invisible. It's that little shiver telling you to say yes, or the knot in your stomach telling you to say no. It's that certainty without proof, yet it turns out to be right. That strange dream giving you a message. That gut feeling pushing you to act, or wait. And the more you open to your awakening, the clearer, stronger, and more precise your intuition becomes. You feel what's right, even before you can explain it. Before, you always asked others for advice. Now, you feel the answer is already within. You sense people's intentions. You detect lies behind words. You feel places, energies, vibrations. You instinctively know what uplifts you, and what drains you. It's like your inner receiver has been cleared, and your soul's voice is speaking louder, more often. You start following your inner guidance, even if no one else understands. Sometimes, you act without any logical reason. You change direction at the last minute. You avoid someone. You accept an opportunity based on a feeling. And later, You realize your intuition protected or guided you. Even if it defies logic. Even if it upsets those around you. You know, deep inside, that you are being guided. Your intuition is a sacred gift. It's not reserved for a few chosen ones. It is in you, always has been, and if it's awakening now, it's because you're ready. Ready not just to believe, but to deeply feel, to trust yourself, even in uncertainty, even in the invisible, because what intuition tells you is often what your soul has always known. Sign number 7, you feel a deep unity with all that is. And then, without warning, without logic, you feel something unexplainable, something sacred, vast, pure, a suspended moment, where you gaze at the sky, a tree, a river, a child. And you feel a deep unity, as if you and what you're seeing are one. The sense that everything is interconnected. You begin to feel that others are not others. That the earth is not just a background. That animals are not lesser beings. That strangers are not separate. No, in your heart, a new truth arises. We are all one spirit, one consciousness, manifesting through billions of forms. And this unity, you don't understand it with the mind. You live it, you feel it, you develop a natural compassion for all life. A stranger's tears touch you. An animal's suffering wounds you. The beauty of a flower amazes you. And you feel that you can no longer live against life. You want to live with it. In harmony, with respect, with awareness. It's not a moral effort. It's a natural expansion of the heart. Your heart becomes wider, more open, more sensitive, but also more powerful. Unconditional love begins to awaken in you. This love is not romantic. It's not attachment. It's not possession. It's a love that embraces all. Even what hurt you, even what you don't yet understand. A love that welcomes, forgives, and recognizes the light in all forms of life. And in that love, you never feel alone again. Because you are connected to everything. The true purpose of awakening is unity. All the previous signs, change, solitude, synchronicities, intuition, have led you here, to this moment of total reconnection. To this realization that you've never been separate. That the source is within you, around you, in every living being, and this is where a new way of living begins. A simpler life, a more aligned life, a life of presence, gratitude, and love. You're not becoming someone new. You're remembering who you really are. A soul, a consciousness, a sacred fragment of the infinite. And if you resonate with these 7 signs, it's not a coincidence, it's a calling, a call to awaken, a call to love more deeply, a call to fully live, a call to embody your light. Thank you for listening to this message until the end. If you recognized yourself in these signs, know this. You are not alone. Millions of souls across the world are awakening right now. And together, we form a great family of light. Subscribe to this channel to keep walking this path of awakening. Share this video with a seeking soul. And above all, listen to your heart. It already knows the way.